Good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sky Punch. Just to note, Sky Punch is a thing. I didn't just make those words up. That is, I didn't say what are two fun words and put them together. There's a thing. It's a meteorological phenomenon called a false recall, where essentially condensation, it does a thing. Google it. I didn't make it up. Actually, it sounds cooler if I did make it up. Welcome to Sky Punch, a thing that I completely made up. Two words that I did just randomly put together. This is my fourth video in this series, and I'm excited to continue this journey with everybody. And then I'm fortunate enough to just kind of mess around here and get to learn some things. So tonight, moving away from Designer Cloud, moving into a different part of the Alteryx Analytics Cloud with the Auto Insights tools. Now it's been about 2 years since I've seen these, so I just went in blind, understanding what it did, and had a lot of fun. It was pretty cool. It's got a lot of really great offerings, and I think it's a really good gateway platform into a lot of different analytic processes. So check it out. Thanks for watching the video. I'm Trayson. This is Sky Punch. And this is a video vlog podcast thing where we get on, we attack different problems in the cloud. See, like attack, like a punch, and then sky and cloud. That's why it works. All right, everybody enjoy. All right, so want to step away from Designer Cloud for a second and look at some of the other offerings within the Alteryx Analytics Cloud. You may notice I have this Alteryx Auto Insights shirt that I got at Denver Inspire in 2022. And thus far, it has been a workout shirt because I didn't really know what it did. And so, or I knew what it did, but I haven't done any deep dives. And so I'll just start with kind of my understanding of what this tool is and what I've seen of it, and then we're just gonna dive in and see what it's gonna take for me to actually run an Auto Insight. So the my understanding of this tool is that it allows you to send a data set against it, and it really does all of the breaking down. Like, let's say you have sales numbers for like a year, and it's like, okay, it does all of the breaking down or the insight generation about this data set. So sales are up in these three regions, sales are down in these three regions. Why are sales down in these three regions? And you can continue to dive all the way down to like the bottommost layer of your whatever your categorical data is in your data set. So like, let's say you have all the way down to like some SKU, and you could dive into like, okay, well, this SKU died in the Oklahoma City market or whatever. Why did that happen? And then that can kind of help lead to the questions for your business. Now, what's super cool about something like that, it doesn't sound like it's too far off from the mission of like dashboarding. However, what can be difficult with the constant like question asking that this, I believe, solves in dashboarding is that you have to build to drill into things, and I'm not a dashboard developer, but in my experience, it's pretty close to impossible to build for everything. So this tool is supposed to sort of, in a way, attack that how do I get all of the insights, even when I don't know what the insights are, or I don't even know what to look for. So I think that's going to be awesome here. I hope that's what it does. It looks like it does some other stuff. Like, I know that they were talking about, well, let's just look at it. We're going to run through. So on the, so just to note, in the Analytics Cloud, I just clicked on Auto Insight. And so, oh goodness, where did I go? Where did we go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Different logo up here. So this is completely separate from Designer Cloud. And when we come in here, we have these missions, where it looks like it's just like a quick template to like, how are we going to do this on our own? I'm actually curious what this would look like. Okay, we're going to go here and we're going to go. Well, actually, let's make some other notes here. It looks like we've got these data sets. So these data sets aren't mine. These were in here already. We're going to probably go about this the wrong way. We're going to look and see how to create a data set in here. I wonder if there is a way. Okay. Column names must not include pipe character. Da, da, da. Okay, here's just a bunch of stuff. All right, view, boom, boom. Let's get started. Let's just dive into this. Test. Let's create a data set. We're going to continue. Database connection. I wonder. I know, just to note, okay. So it looks like we're going to have to create these connections here, which isn't exactly, having now worked in Designer Cloud, I'd love to just send like data sets I create over there through this. Like that seems like a no-brainer, but maybe there's something more difficult why they can't be done as far as like the way this is partitioned on the backside. I would think that should be something that could be done or should be done. I don't know. But I also know that the way that currently this works is that you can have, there's a widget in Designer Cloud, or sorry, Designer Desktop that can push data right to this. So I haven't seen anything on Designer Cloud that would mirror that. But yeah, I guess those are all for another day. So let's go back. We'll go back to missions here. So if I say KPI deep dive report, so these are the data sets here. So the KPI deep dive template provides a detailed view of the top segments that are affecting the performance of your chosen key measure. Auto Insights bases these segments on statistical relevance. Okay, so let's say sales analysis. I think we talked about that earlier. So measures. Okay, so I'm curious, like when we create that data set, if we have to define the measures, or I'm curious how this works, like setting these up. But I guess we're going to do revenue. I want to know revenue information on my revenue. So I say create mission. What is this going to do? All right. So this seems to have just given me, voila, your KPI is created dimensions were automatically selected by Auto Insights using machine intelligence and are based on statistical relevance in the sales analysis data set. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Let's just kind of look through this. Okay, so some time series analysis, just saying what our revenue looks like. This looks like it. I don't know what's in this, so I'm curious if this green area is like a. I'm curious what that is. Oh, that's where the revenue went up, 2.46 billion. No, it is 2.46 billion. It's up. It's up 900 versus October. Okay, so this is showing that like, hey, over the last month between this period of November, revenue went up. Okay, interesting. So that's cool. Okay, this is that what caused it part. So I was like, why did this change? So I got the EMEA region. I feel like earlier versions I could click through on this stuff. Comparing country. Let's see here. Comparing region. Okay, so let's see. Oh, okay. So we have to do this, it looks like, to dive into these. Oh, and these are the actual, okay, so country is this. So this is when we look at this UAE, it got up 171 million. This is further going into that. So we see UAE, here's that 171 million. Interesting that Indonesia didn't show up there instead of that. But yeah, this went up as a change percentage. Interesting. Or maybe that might be something I'd be more interested in. But yeah, unsure how to, well, anyway. Okay, so this is just showing that. So if I click on this, is there ways to further dive in? Okay, let's view this page. I'm curious what this is going to do. Okay. So, okay. When we talked about new insights being driven, this looks like it's that. Revenue increased. We knew that. Okay. 51% of country. 51 points are from 17.9% of country. So saying that like, hey, we were real top heavy on this. But I mean, that's the 80-20 rule. Well, 50-17 rule in this instance. But that's okay. Which, well, 8 countries had no revenue this period resulting. So like, okay, this is like, oh, I want, okay, hide this story. No, I don't want to hide this. This is the story I want to see. How do I? Oh, okay, cool. So there's that whole dive in thing. Like, so if I'm like 8 countries, okay, so boom, I see what my problems immediately are. If I'm a sales manager, I probably should have known this ahead of time. But if I'm a sales manager's boss and I'm like, what is going on in these 8 countries or whatever, this kind of stuff at your fingertips is pretty good to know. And this is just a country. So this is just looking at country. Okay, again, so UAE, here's the largest increase. Oh, okay, so this is the largest increase when I had asked why not Indonesia, and I don't think, because it's just 180 million is the total, but the increase is 139. Got it. Okay, so that's why it shows that. This is that percentage increase. So the other thing I said is like, okay, how do I see the biggest percentage increase? It talks about it when we dive in here. Okay, largest decrease. How do I click on this? Okay, so this is that diving thing I was talking about. So now I can further dive into what caused this. I have a sticker over here. It's an Insight Cloud sticker. It says what caused that. I've literally been staring at it for 2 years, and now that I see this and I see this sticker, I'm like, oh, everything's starting to make sense. So okay. And it's stuck to my wall, and you don't want to see what's going on over there, so I'm not going to show you the sticker. But I promise you there's a sticker over there. That's just what caused this. Interesting. So, okay, so we dive further into everything. We could look at account manager. This is cool. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is really driving insights. Let's look at, so this is just if we want to look at country. So if we do account manager, again, same sort of dive with all this. All right, so I think I understand what this is doing. So this is almost exactly what I said that I assumed it, or that I knew it to do. And it's not as difficult it's not that difficult to navigate. I'm curious actually. So let's do last 3 months. Let's say we were rolling 3 months. And so this June, July, August. So that's cool. So this, if you tell it rolling 3 months, it gives you the 2 periods, and you can change that. So that's cool. That's a revenue filter. You can add filters onto that too. So, not knowing much about this data, let's apply this. Okay, so this is now clicks. This is interesting that I can really quickly switch that. Oh no, this is clicks. I see. This is clicks as applied to account manager. So this is, now we've gone away from the revenue track. I was kind of thinking that maybe it would be like a clicks to revenue comparison, but it does not seem to be. I'd probably be more or less frustrated about that if I knew specifically what the clicks were doing in this, but maybe it's not something that would be expected. So that's fine. I guess that doesn't work that way. Let's look at region. I'm curious about some of the mapping that exists in here. If there's like I don't think I would really need to see actually, I'm sorry. I was looking at country. Yeah, there's no maps, which is fine. I don't need it to be mapped out, but cool. Okay, neat. Done. Awesome. Love that. Let's look at an executive summary. Sales analysis. Boom. Let's do the same thing. Okay, so I'm curious if that clicks. So this is what I'm curious about. Okay, we're gonna look at that in a second, because that's something they talked about at Inspire in 2023 that I'm really curious to see in application. So, I didn't really do any setups to this. So I'm curious how. What is the change layout? Oh, interesting. Okay, minimalistic. I could see where I would, like a boss would like something like this. Boom. Or maybe full insights on the top, and then I don't know. This is okay. But again, I didn't tell it to do anything, so it just chose. So that earlier, let's go back here. Let me make sure I didn't do that. So I click here. I click the sales report. So it didn't ask me to look at a measure the same way this does. I'm not sure if that's important or not. Because I think it looks like it just assumed that revenue was to be, and I don't know how it chose revenue. Oh no, okay, I'm sorry. It does have revenue. It does have clicks and revenue per click. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I just didn't go down. Okay, so I guess I would imagine that when you create the data set, it has something to do with this, which makes me now understand why perhaps they have those split out. So the creating the data set here is different. Maybe it'd be cool if we could like start with a data set. It's like, oh, start with AAC data set, and then we can go there rather than having to make like the connections in the same way and then build that out further. But I imagine this is part of that data set stuff. So, which is why, okay, all right, that makes sense. Let's look at Magic Document. So one of the things they talked about in at Inspire 24 was the ability to like export these results into a presentation or an email or message. And I think this is going to exist in some capacity in maybe I know that they're doing Aiden is their generative AI thing or it's not generative AI. I'm not, it might be generative AI. Aiden's their thing that they're doing on Designer Desktop, and I'm not very close to that. So I'm not quite sure if it also does this sort of thing, but I do want to see how like a presentation works. So I'm going to do the presentation. Let's say my audience is, let's do a CEO and sales team. Can I do both? Let's do a sales team. No, let's do a CEO. Yep, CEO is fine. And English. Boom. Let's generate this presentation. You can edit the. Do you need to stay on right? Use tone of voice to add character. Interesting. I missed that tone of voice thing, but it is developing this. Let's do something while this is generating. I do want to look back at, let's see if I can, nope. How do I open link in a new tab? I don't want to get rid of this, but okay, hold on a second. Let's go here. Let's go to Auto Insights. All right. Let's talk about this correlation analysis report. So one of the things I had quickly expressed frustration about was like clicks to revenue wasn't really showing up in here, or I wasn't understanding how it was showing up. But this allows, is this two first? Okay, yep. So sales analysis report, clicks, sales analysis. I'd be really curious how this like cross data set stuff works. I think before I test this out, I would want to create my own two data sets so that I understood how the data sets worked against each other. But let's just do sales analysis and sales analysis on revenue. Let's just see what this looks like. Let's see how this is going. Okay, so I don't want to change. Okay, so clicks, revenue. Clicks are up, revenue's up. 66 million clicks became 978 million revenue. That's cool. Enterprise and large enterprise company. So this, I actually like this. This would be really cool. I'm trying to think here from like the perspective of a data scientist. Like, I know we can do models to define or to find correlation between two KPIs or metrics or what are they called? Features in a model. So one of the things I would like with this is some sort of like feature correlation numbers here on here. And this might exist. I just don't see it yet. I'd like to understand. So sure, clicks and revenue are up, but let's say revenue and amount of money we spent on toilet paper, like let's say amount of money spent on toilet paper is down and revenue is way up, just because that doesn't mean anything. So I'm curious if there's a way on here to talk about how important the relationship between these two are. But let's just assume this is good, because we know our data set, we know this is important. So let's assume this is good. Yeah. Okay. So this just does all of the further dive downs. Okay. Cool. I'm cool with this too. I like this. I'm just trying to think of what it would take for me to build something like this in Designer or even on a dashboard. It'd take a lot longer than this just took me. But again, I don't know how long it takes to set up the data set. So there's that. But I like how quick this is. And I'm trying to think of how I would use this otherwise. Like, of course, hey, I need to send something to my CEO or whatever, or a sales team lead. That's all really cool. I wonder what the time to like how long does it take me as the leader of the analytics team for an organization to set this up? Like, okay, we bought it, we're in. I set it up so that every month it just generates, and then I send it out, or is it something that like I give to my CEO and I'm like, hey, you can play around in it? Or I guess I'm curious what the pitch is there. As someone who develops dashboards, maybe this is a good way to like dive into like some of that analysis. Like, oh, you can see interesting things here. Like maybe you don't know what questions to ask. I'm not a great dashboard developer. So maybe someone who is really good at dashboard developing would sort of already know the way that this sort of result takes. But yeah, I gotta think about that. All right, let's go back here to, this is cool though. This is neat. This saves a bunch of time. I am terrible. I am terrible at creating spreadsheets, or I'm not, sorry. Yeah, see, I'm so terrible. I can't remember what they're called. PowerPoints. So this is neat. I'd be curious. So if I export this, let's look at export. How do I export? Download it as a PowerPoint. So this could be the basis of my PowerPoint, and yeah, that's cool. So I do like this. This is neat. Cool. Okay. I like this. I'm excited to know more. I think in the near future, I'm going to dive further into this with some folks over at Alteryx to kind of understand some of these back-end questions that I've had, or how it can further be leveraged in ways I'm not thinking about. So super cool, exciting. Glad I have the t-shirt. Excited to see other AAC things. Yeah, let's recap here. Let's do that. Auto Insights, separate from Designer Cloud, separate from all other products that Alteryx has. Am I blurry? I'm blurry. I'm sorry. Now I look at me getting all distracted. We can put a data set in here. Don't know what that takes to make one. Didn't make one tonight. Maybe that'll be my next video, is making a data set and putting it in here. Again, curious like how piping data works. Okay, those are things I want to know. How hard is it to put data in here? Once data is in here, it seems to be pretty easy to execute, but these are, of course, their data sets. So take that with a grain of salt. I need to find something that's dirtier and throw that at this. But yeah, otherwise cool, love it. Definitely worth continuing. And if your organization is interested in something like this, it would definitely be worth checking out. Yeah. Sorry, now I'm thinking of all the customers I could take it to, or could have taken it to. I guess what I'm really finding for at least these two things in the AAC is that like this is great. All of this stuff is really great for organizations with I don't want to say low manpower, but I think that's probably the best way to say that. Like, I don't have a full analytics team. I don't have years of experience to build all this stuff. I don't have dashboard developers. We're thinking about getting into Power BI. We're thinking about getting into Tableau. We're thinking about exploring something like that. Okay, I say that, but I'm like, oh yeah, but we have Snowflake. Yeah, they're working on some move to the cloud because it's the future and it's here. So maybe it's better to get over there now rather than wait. I think all of that stuff would all of the things I've seen so far would suit an organization like that really well. So I'm going to further think on it. And so everybody, thank you for sticking around and have a great evening.